What up YouTube, and welcome back to another episode on Kubernetes. In today's episode we're going to be looking at Helm charts, taking a Node.js app and how we can deploy it using the Helm chart to Minikube. So I've used Helm charts in the past in some of my episodes on Kubernetes, and I just wanted to quickly explain what it is again. So Helm is a package manager that allows you to easily manage your apps or bits of components and software as charts that allow you to easily deploy into Kubernetes. And some of the stuff that allows you to do is, like, for example, if you've created a bit of component that needs to go on Kubernetes, or you've taken an open sourced app, or you've built your own app, you can easily standardize some sort of chart that allows you to publish to the internet for other people to use. It's a bit like Docker when you want to pull Docker images and use them on your machine or on your infrastructure and things like that. And it makes it easy to manage deployments and releases, and makes it easier to manage the Kubernetes manifest files as well, which is quite cool. So that's a quick overview of what Helm is and what you can do with it. So what we're going to do is do a practical overview of Helm, generate a Helm chart, use the Node.js Hello World app from Heroku, which is on Docker Hub, to deploy to my local Kubernetes cluster with Minikube. So the first thing first is I want to make sure that my Minikube is up. So I'm going to do my Minikube status, and my cat's just jumped off my lap. So let's do this. Right, so I can see I ain't got no Minikube installation running, so I'm going to set that up and let that start up, shall we? Awesome, so Minikube has started. Wonderful. So I can see that if I hit the dashboard, I can view Kubernetes dashboard. Wonderful. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to generate a Helm chart that will basically utilize, again, the Node.js app and spin up a release on my local Kubernetes cluster. So what I'm going to do first is go to my Go directory, and I'm going to go to github.com, and I'm going to make my own for now. So hello world. So obviously there's nothing in here because we're going to be utilizing a Docker image anyway, but I'm going to generate the Helm chart inside of it. So just to make sure I've got Helm. Wonderful. Helm comes with a feature that allows you to generate a chart anyway. So what we're going to do is create, and we're going to call it Hello World. So for me, I like to create my charts as the same name as the application. So going into that, it's generated me a few files. So let's open this up. So to start off, the Helm chart creates the values YAML file, and the values YAML file basically creates the foundation that allows essentially the Helm chart to build upon. So for example, you can see the deployment YAML, the ingress, and the service. Well, they all read from the values file. So that's what the values file does, and this is where you can configure specifying the image from Docker, the tag, so latest or a specific version, and pull policy, so always pull or only if the image is not present, etc. The chart file is where you define what the chart is. So you could say, well, this is a Helm chart for a Node.js app, so a Helm chart for a Node.js app. Cool. And again, the name and maybe the version, so 0.0.1. So the chart YAML file can also be expanded upon. So it's not just these 4 particular key values that you can give it. You can also give it some other things like the home URL and the source and the maintainers, and these things can be expanded upon, such as Slack and Twitter, Engine. So maybe you don't want to use GOTPL, maybe you want to use something else that builds upon your variables. And the same with like the icon, the app version, and maybe Tiller. So maybe this chart can only support a certain Tiller version, like maybe there's a minimum requirement. So these are the things that you can expand upon with the chart.yaml file. Cool, so in my next video, I promise I'm going to talk further into detail about what the different kinds you can get, such as deployment and persistent volume claims and stateful sets and the service and the ingress, etc. But for now, I wanted to give you an overview of what the Helm chart creates, and then in my next video, I'll make sure that I go into detail about these things. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to start filling out this data so that we can basically deploy a Node.js Hello World app. So the repository would be the Node.js Heroku Docker URL. So that would be that. And I assume there's a version to this. Don't think there is. Is there a tag? Yeah, so tag is latest, so we'll give it latest. Pull policy, if not present, we'll keep that as it is. The service, we want to call it Hello World. We want to give it a cluster IP. The internal port for the app runs on 3000, I've noticed, so we're going to set that as 3000. And we want to set the ingress to true because we want to be able to hit it by a host URL. So in my case, we'll set that to true. And we'll set this to Hello World. Wonderful. So these values will now get set inside the different YAML files. So ingress, we now know that that's true, and it's enabled. So now it will actually utilize this information to create the ingress on Kubernetes. We know that the deployment file is going to pull down the image tag, the image and the image tag version, which is latest, and specify the pull policy, which is if not present. And we know that it's going to hit the internal port for health checks, etc. Cool, so with that in place then, we actually now need to go ahead and test the chart to see if it will spin up on the local Kubernetes cluster. So what we're going to do then is do a helm install hello world. Okay, so I haven't got Tiller installed. So I'm going to do a helm init to initialize the Tiller pod onto the cluster. And what we're going to do then is do a kubectl, and we can see that Tiller pod is running. So then I'm going to install the Helm chart again. So you can see it's created a cool funky release name called Ranting Beetle, and it's created the resources based on what the files had inside the Helm chart. So the service, the deployment, the ingress. So what we can do is hit the dashboard, and we can see then that under workloads, or actually let's go to deployments, we can see the release name and the service name, so Ranting Beetle Hello World, and inside there we can see it's created a new replica set which was created 33 seconds ago with the image of Heroku Node.js Hello World latest. Wonderful. So we can look inside and we can see there's a pod. Cool. We can see it's running. I wonder if there's any logs. Okay, it says that the Node app is running on localhost 3000. Cool, so before ingress can actually work, where you can actually say hello-world.local and view the hello world pod from your browser, I forgot that you need to install nginx ingress. And the idea is that with Minikube they have built-in add-ons that allow you to enable ingress. So for example, this command here would enable the ingress to support the component behind it, which will allow you to then serve traffic and then hit the ingress. So I have that enabled. Cool. And this post is from someone called Oscar3, so awesome post, thank you. So what we can do then is, I'm not sure I need the rest of this information, but I should be able to basically say that, and then I guess we just say it to whatever the ingress is. So mine would be hello-world.local. And what this is basically doing is taking the Minikube IP and the domain hello-world.local, and it's feeding it into the host file, so that when we do hit something, the host file gets read and says, oh look, here's hello world local. I'm going to feed this and point to where it actually needs to go. Okay, so 192.168.99.100, which is my Minikube IP for hello world.local. Cool, so in that case, I should technically be able to curl hello world.local. And I'm still waiting. There we are. Awesome. So I've learnt something today with ingress for Minikube, which is cool, and hopefully you guys have learnt something today with how Helm charts work and the bit that I've learnt as well. So for Minikube to work with ingresses, you do need to enable the add-on, so that's cool. So guys, it's just as a quick overview with this information on the Helm chart. This doesn't necessarily be the way that you have to build your Helm charts. You don't necessarily have to have it defined as basically like service, ingress, image, maybe replica count, etc. There are ways to improve this by standardizing stuff. So for example, you could have a Helm repository, and that's something that I will talk about in the near future, about how Helm repositories work. But the idea is that you could take this template folder and tuck it away somewhere in another repository that then gets utilized by this value file. So you could create some sort of standardization and make things a lot neater and easier to seamlessly install and serve Helm charts to your local Kubernetes cluster. So I'll bring that in the next video about how the Helm repository works and how you could actually take a lot of this information and standardize it, and yeah. Awesome guys, so I hope today's episode on Kubernetes has taught you a bit on Helm. I also hope that the practical overview that I did with the Helm charts with the different files, I hope that's taught you of how they work together to build that foundation to easily deploy Helm charts to Kubernetes seamlessly, and also how Helm charts work and how it talks to Kubernetes, for example. I also hope that the bit that I did with Minikube and the ingress stuff, the stuff that I actually learned today, which was quite cool, I hope that taught you guys something as well. And in the near future, again, I will speak about the different files and how they work, and a Helm repository and how that works to create some sort of standardization across Helm charts. As always guys, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below, make sure to hit the thumbs up, and make sure to smash that subscribe button. As always guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.